we're doing this. So imagine yourself here and you brought somebody and you got somebody sitting next to you that's brand new, hasn't heard this before. So, okay, so now we're here. First of all, I want to congratulate you guys for joining us on this path towards what I call healthy longevity. That's a major step for anybody. And we all have a perception of what that's like, but we want to talk tonight what all of us really, we all do this. We do physical activity. Our bodies are designed for famine and physical activity. But what we consume, we should be consuming things that support those two things. Dr. Shackley said it's not what we eat, it's what we don't eat. And he told us he learned from nature that the body needs every nutrient, known and unknown. And he called those the unknown life force. Now, I want to lay the groundwork here why Shackley's unique and how it's different. And I believe, and hopefully you'll come to see why this will be very important to you in your life. Now, Dr. Shackley became a student of nature after understanding that his regaining of his health, and if you don't know that story, you want to read about it, but in the regaining of his health, it was based on what he called the creator having provided all the known and unknown nutrients in our food source. Now, he said, having personally experienced that benefit, he sought to provide that whole concept, that thinking, and hopefully in a product form to other people. And through his research, what he discovered was a way to harness what he called that life force that was found in nature. And he formulated what he called vitalized minerals, which was the world's first multivitamin and supplement. And from that discovery, Dr. Shackley literally pioneered the wellness industry. But with a unique difference, every product was created based on his philosophy. He defined and he coined in harmony with nature. And a process that was committed to leadership without compromise. So we have something very unique. And it's been proven through history. The foundation of what he created, what was based on his philosophy in harmony with nature, became the guiding light to unequaled science that not only has stood the test of time, it's done it for 100 years with unequaled integrity. This has led to the statement made by Forbes, who published it in 2022, quote, Shackley is the most clinically proven wellness company in the world. Now, the young man on the right there, Roger Barnett, he was looking for a company he wanted to be able to do good and do well in. And after spending 5 years and over $20 million, he discovered our industry. And what he learned within that is that there was a commonality within the industry, but really, when he learned of the Shackley difference, he decided that's the company he wanted. And he learned that Shackley, historically and clinically, was unique and different from every other company in our industry. And with that, he pursued the owners to sell it to him. But it took a year of relentless pursuit, and he was finally able to get an agreement, and they accepted his personal check for the company. Now, the most important thing that Roger saw was the Shackley philosophy. That the philosophy built on nature was committed to protecting and preserving that. It demanded that every product was ever made must be in harmony with nature. And with that commitment that every product must benefit a cell, not harm a cell. And not only that, but with the specific mission focused on delivering results. Not just any results, the best results that only nature offered, that only the unequaled Shackley science had proven to deliver results over anything else. And to top it off, to back that with clinical evidence, clinical proof. All this meant expanding of the thinking of Shackley to go even beyond organic. I want to read this slide. It says, beyond organic reflects our belief, Shackley's belief, that our quality standard go beyond how and where and an ingredient is grown. Instead, we look to confirm the purity and potency of ingredients from the creation of the product to the delivery of the customer. We do this by conducting over 100,000 quality tests per year, and there's more than that now, I believe. And they screen them from over 350 contaminants, pesticides, and impurities on that's a big word, every new botanical ingredient. This is 3 times the required amount that the United States pharmacopoeia demands. So I want you to understand what that Shackley difference is and why and how it's different. And I learned this from the fellow who took over after Dr. Shackley. His name was Dr. James Scala. And I asked him, tell me the Shackley difference. How does that come to be? What does that mean? And he says, well, if I took the finest orange tree in the world in the finest organic environment and I picked a bushel of oranges off of it, the nutritional value would vary between 10 and 400%. You see, the Shackley difference is commitment to nature and its wisdom, protecting it in everything that Shackley does. And I'm going to give you an example later in the slide here of what that means. But first, it means that in this, when you see this statement, this slide, over 120 published papers and scientific presentations, I believe there's more than that now. I know that there's 214 patents pending there. This isn't just rhetoric. It's fact. The Shackley difference was born out of that commitment to nature, and its inherent wisdom in protecting it in the beginning. And this is for us, that every product that Shackley offered is going to impact our wellness path, our health path. Now, here's the Shackley difference in publication. As you look at this slide, I want you to know that no other company in the world has allowed their products in our industry to be scrutinized like this. This landmark study you're looking at is a 20-year study. And every instance in every biomarker, Shackley outperformed not just 1%, 2%, but many, many percent over the American diet, other brands, multiple supplements, everything. The Shackley difference is just unequal. But that wasn't good enough. Roger said, when he bought the company, I see the landmark, it's amazing. He said, but I want more. I want to know, I want to see how it's continued and how it's benefited and impacted lives. So he commissioned a 10-year follow-up study done at Tufts University. So what you're looking at here is you can see that dotted line. When a child is born, their normal health typically falls right on that dotted line, or they're even healthier than that. But when they start crossing over that dotted line, they start going into the need for medical intervention, whether it's over-the-counter meds or prescribed meds, or there's some health symptom going on, or health issue, or even disease. And you can see that the Shackley group has remained at that low level. And as a personal example, I've been in Shackley 54 years. My wife's been with me 45. And between us, we have 99 combined years with no meds. Now, Dr. Shackley would say that's not Shackley, it's nature. And I believe that because it takes diet and exercise and nutrition. They work together. So you have to have balance in your thinking and all those aspects. Now, the first thing I want to share here is that this whole thing is based on a foundation built on that Shackley philosophy in harmony with nature. The second thing is because of Shackley's commitment to delivering results, backing it by proven safety and results. The third thing is that Shackley's commitment to always lead, always be safe, and all of it always validating the Shackley difference. And with that, the research is unequaled. And this is just one example of Shackley's proven difference through research and its application. Renowned adventurers, astronauts, elite athletes have come to trust and choose Shackley. What you're seeing here in that Life magazine is 25 of the world's greatest adventures were powered by multiple people. Seven of them were powered by Shackley. The extraordinary research, it's done not for that, not the notoriety, it's done for us. It's done so that you and I and our parents and our children get to use products to help us stay in that healthy longevity path. This extraordinary research effort for us is to continue that working level. And if we look at our body's designed for physical activity, it's not only health, it's our fitness. And weekend warriors, if you're that, or you're an active athlete, or you're an elite level competitor, we need to know and trust that we've got something to help us. And this knowledge and confidence, that's what's going to happen for you when you include Shackley into your regime. And we're going to provide you more about the body in this and Shackley and how it can be a winning edge here for you. And here's an example of some of the people that have used it. Now, we all want the best for our bodies. I'm pretty sure you do. This is why NASA uses the products. There's nothing more in harmony with nature and clinically proven better in Shackley. Otherwise, they wouldn't be choosing this. I want to let you hear a National Guard captain who was once an elite athlete and has been a coach for much of his life. He's going to share some of his thoughts about Shaq. So here we go. Whoop. Sorry, kids. I pressed the wrong button.
Hi, my name's Tim Stewart. The last coaching assignment I had was with Wilmot Union Consolidated High School in Wilmot, Wisconsin. However, over the years, I've coached for Johnsburg High School, Johnsburg Middle School, McHenry County College, for several club programs, both in soccer and basketball. I spent a lot of time coaching track and field. The Shackley Sports Nutrition has always been a preferred product for hydration with the Hydrate Performance, for energy with the Energy Chews, with recovery from the whey protein. It's just such an amazing product, which is why it's a preferred product by several Olympic athletes. And if you just go look at the Olympic gold medals by Shackley users, we're like the fourth or fifth largest country in the Olympic Games. Why does it work so well? Well, it goes back to Dr. Shackley's philosophy on both the nutrition, the cleaning, and the skincare, right? It's got to work. It's got to benefit a cell. It can't harm a cell, and it cannot damage a cell. If you look at some of the other hydration products, they're overloaded with sugar and other things. They may have some good stuff in them, but the other stuff outweighs the good stuff. The Shackley Hydrate was originally called Astro Aid, developed for the NASA space program, but from the benefits of it, it found its way into the sports world. If you're considering using any products for hydration, for recovery, for energy, take a serious look at the Shackley Sports Nutrition Package. It's beyond compare. And if you're looking for that edge that will take you to the next level, I definitely highly recommend Shackley Sports Products. So, my name is Tim Stewart. I am Coach Papa, and I do approve this message. God bless, travel safe. Make this your best day yet. Now it's time for you to get off the bench and get back in the book.
I always like that. Now, thousands of athletes and people at all levels, they rely on the Shackley difference. And can you guess how many countries do you think participate in the Olympics? 200 nations send athletes. Shackley ranks in medals won 8th in the world. Over 152 medals, gold, silver, and bronze have been won. That's the Shackley difference in action. We had the privilege to spend some time with Marion Bozek, who was the forward, and Brianne McLaughlin, goalie for the 1996 gold medal women's hockey team. And of course, I'm always asking questions. I asked them, both of them, how Shaklee was of benefit to them, and they said the Shaklee nutrition, it made a huge difference, not just in their training, but their mental acuity. They felt their stamina and endurance really had improved, but they were really impressed with the recovery. Because when you train and you tear your body apart and you got to come back the next day, you need to recover. And that has to happen rather quickly. Now, why did they do that? And why does NASA use it? Well, it's trust. Trust is absolutely critical. Uh, you're a product of nature, as are all those athletes. Those Olympians work very hard. Your health is as important as theirs is, and not just for the moment, but your lifetime. So it's not we're taking it for the event. We're taking this thing we want it to impact and be worth our health for a lifetime. And I just want to give you something to think about. If you owned $1 million racehorse, would you feed it McDonald's? I'm guessing not. Okay. Question is, are you worth more than $1 million racehorse? I would think absolutely. Okay. Shackley knows you are, and Shackley's commitment is to provide the absolute best for you, not just for your health and fitness, but more importantly, for your healthy longevity. Think about this. If you could wiggle your nose, what would you wish your last 20 years of your life, health-wise, to be like? Well, Shackley athletes, they're tested. We don't get tested until there's a problem, typically. Most people don't go to the doctor unless they're feeling bad. These athletes, they have to be tested. The Shackley difference has proven the results, and that's why we have all those medals won, because people can trust it. So now that we know that you're worth more than a horse, let's dig in this a little bit more. Performance. Let's review the difference here. Shackley performance. It says 100% guaranteed. Okay, so if you don't notice a benefit or a result, you can get your money back. What I want to tell you is it takes at least 120 days, 4 months for your blood to change and replace itself. And it's almost 11 months for your cellular structure to change. So you're going to be healthier next year than you are this year when you start on this nutrition program. What's good is I said Shaklee tests every botanical ingredient and it does 100,000 quality tests. And that's just not to make the box or the package look good and get delivered. It's about the quality of those products, making sure they're pure and safe. And we have 100 stories behind that difference in how it's formed. There's nothing in this thing that's going to impact the health of your body or compromise anything that's going to be harmful to you. Now, as for me, an example, when I'm talking with coaches, and Tim was one of those guys, I asked, if you could improve your athletes' endurance, their stamina, their mental acuity, and decrease their risk of injury, what would you say? And of course, almost all of them, I've never had a no in that. I've always had, yeah, sure, what do we do? Well, obviously they want to know that it's real and that it's true. And one example is that when Shackley was a nutrition consultant to the Olympic ski team and snowboard teams, the average caloric intake for those athletes was about 10,000 calories a day. Now, I know if I eat 10,000 calories at 80 years old right now, I'm going to look like a balloon real quick. It ain't going to happen tomorrow. It's going to happen within 3 or 4 days, really quick. The diets were professionally prepared. I don't have a dietitian, a professional to prepare my meals for me. I have to do it. I have to buy the ingredients in that. 100% of the athletes. Here's what's really interesting. 100% of the athletes had 3 to 4 major nutrients they were deficient in. Now, how's that possible with 10,000 calorie intake professionally prepared by dietitians? I mean, if we were getting what we need in our foods, that would not be true. With the Shackley, they can begin and become part of the winningest team in history. You don't have to worry about that anymore. It's simple. It's there. So where do we start? I want to teach you one thing. There's 4 key elements to help one to gain a winning edge. And these are the 4 things. Every activity, it brings or athletic activity brings its own strategy, but the key is always the same. The key are these 4 elements. Remember the question I asked you about coaches, if they can improve their athletes' endurance, stamina, mental acuity, and decrease their risk of injury? You have to ask yourself, What would you say to that? Because this is you we're working on. Well, you want to address each of these equally and do it as best you can. Now, fuel is the key to a good workout right from the very beginning. Everyone who breathes and is physically active needs these four elements. It says energize here to improve physical performance and mental alertness. I talked about mental acuity. It says hydrate, replenish electrolytes, and increase endurance and stamina. I talked about endurance and stamina. Build protein added leucine to repair and build lean muscle. This is where we get the prevention of injury. Reduce exercise-induced muscle soreness and optimum recovery. And those are the four key ingredients that have to be addressed. I don't care if you're painting a house, you're gardening, you're walking, you're doing any fitness training, even yoga, whatever it is, Tai Chi. We need these four elements in our diet. So let's break it down. The first one we want to talk about is hydrate. Anybody here have any stress? Did you know stress reduces or even stops absorption of water? So how are you going to hydrate? It cuts it down as much as 50%. This hydration sets you up for muscles not being hydrated enough so they can't be as flexible. So there's where the injury comes from. It's going to mess with your mental acuity. It's going to mess with your fatigue. There's people who have hit the wall. They call it hitting the wall when you become so dehydrated. And when they bring the astronauts in from outer space, they used to have to take them to the hospital to intravenously rehydrate them until Shackley created Asterate. And now we have performance. So we've got the tools to help keep you hydrated. And when my wife was pregnant with our son and that, and he was born, we used to give him, when he developed a little fever, we gave him the performance, and pretty soon we got him rehydrated, and a lot of that went away really quick. Now, the other thing about performance is that energy, stamina, endurance, and it doesn't come from monster drinks. Monster drinks, there's concerns about that because it may impact liver and kidney, and even overconsumption can create dehydration. If you look at this little graph over here with the two bicycles, and you see one graph going up and one graph going down, the one going down is the consumer of water. And the one going up was 30% higher energy level, endurance, and stamina than the ones drinking water. And this is after 2 hours of fuel. The glucose with the performance was 37% higher than the ones consuming water. That clinical. We had the winningest bike team in the world that was a rolling clinical that Shackley had. And these guys used to have muscle biopsy. If you know what that is, that's where they stick in your upper part of your leg. Now, I had the chance to run in the World Corporate Games, and I won some medals, gold, silver, bronze. But what was interesting, I wasn't able to train well enough to compete in the 100. And I made it to the second run, and they always have a third run to finalists. And I'm sitting on the bleachers. Now, what was interesting is that Dr. James Whittam, who had taken over after Dr. Scala, he came up with this product and he said, Marty, come in my office. And he hands me this can, no label. And he says, I want you to take this while you're running. So I said, okay. And he showed me how. And my times were improving. And there was no name to this yet. But the guy that sat down in front of me in the bleachers while we were going to watch the 100, I was getting ready for that. I noticed that he was the guy that had won the last heat. I said, what are you doing here? You got to go get ready for the 100. He says, I scratched. Why'd you do that? He says, I'm just totally fatigued. I gave him 8 ounces of this performance. I gave it to him. A minute or two later, he looks at me and he gets up and he leaves. He goes, and the next thing I know, he won the 100. He comes back at me and he says, I want a case of that stuff. I says, I don't know what it is. He says, well, find out. So anyway, Shackley's come up with some other things because all these hydration drinks, they're impacting the health of people, and plus they're inconvenient and they're very costly. Shackley developed a product called Energy Chews. Now, energy is very important because it helps you stay alert. It sharpens your focus. And this product here will give you a clean burst of energy. Now, I use it when I'm driving the car and I'm going to be driving for a while. If I get a little tired, I'll take that. I like it, especially when I'm in church. If I got a good sermon going on, I mean, I don't want to miss it. So I will take some of those. So there's a lot of ways to use these things. Plus, they taste great. Okay. And what it's going to do is going to help that with that extra edge move forward. The bottom product is the pre-workout. Excuse me. Where are we going here? I get so excited I start moving stuff too fast. Okay. The bottom product, this Energize, is a pre-workout product. And it's really amazing because it will optimize your nutrition and it's going to help support specific activity. Now, I like to run, I like to bike, I like to lift. And I've noticed since I've been using this pre-workout that not only my workouts have gotten better and I've increased what I've been doing, I've been fully energized through the entire workout. And at 80 years old, they were starting to slow down until these things came out. So it's been really cool. It also helps to maximize your results and help with speedy recovery. This is the creme de la creme. This is the key product. We call it build. It used to be called physique. And of course, we want to build muscle and retain muscle for the duration of our life. If you ever notice people as they move in their age, you start seeing their shoulders slump, their back curve, their chest gets smaller. And me, I'm talking about men mostly. It happens in women as well. But we need to retain our muscle mass because our muscle mass helps retain our health. Very, very critically important. What's unique about this is that not only will you be able to build firm and keep lean muscles, you'll be able to restore your muscle energy because when you work out, you tear muscle tissue down. And the best example I can give you is take a piece of paper and tear it in half, and you'll get the feeling of what's going on inside your body. You're literally tearing those muscles down, and they get fragmented. And the build comes in and provides the nutrients at the time. Within 20 minutes to an hour, if you take this stuff after, boom, it rehabs you. And it's going to help restore that muscle energy and support that muscle. So it's a critical product that we must have. And I want to give you an example of this here. You can see the men with the barbells, they're lifting there. The one on the right is the weight lifter that only used protein. The one in the middle used carbohydrate alone. And the one on the left used physique with the protein carb combination with a special formula and to help rebuild. So the energy level is more and the strength is greater and it's sustained longer. And I'll give you an example of that. This is my cousin, Dr. Joe Hansen. He's a chiropractor, clinical nutritionist, functional medicine doctor. He was an elite athlete in weight in wrestling. He was a lead athlete in bodybuilding. He was selected to be in the Olympic football team when they were doing that, and the kid's just an athlete. Anyway, this is him, 2% carbo depleted after the U.S. Natural Mr. Universe National Competition 1996. Now, I told Dr. Whittam about my cousin, and he says, "Oh, give me his address. I'm going to send him this stuff." He sends him a case of unlabeled cans. Jay calls me up and he goes, "What's this stuff, Uncle Marty?" I go, "Hey, Jim says just take it, and here's how you take it." So I told him, and now he was using the performance and the protein and the other vitamins in that, and he was 3 weeks out pre-contest. Nobody believed this. His weightlifting partner thought he was on drugs because he lost an additional 5 pounds of fat. He saw an addition 5 pounds of lean muscle added. He experienced less time to work out, and it actually reduced 50% for his normal workout that he was doing. And he saw an increase in his weights by 25%. This is all within 3 weeks. What was unique about this, he was a first-time contender who had never ended up in the top 10. He ended up number 9 in the top 10. This is the Shaklee difference at work. Now, recovery is critical. And I'm going to give you a visual on this, but uh, recovery impacts even can determine the next workout, the next competitive performance, and the success that you're going to have with that. Performance recovery, the complexity of this for post-workout soreness and reduction of muscle soreness and optimizing recovery, all clinically proven, safe, ultra pure. You don't have to worry about it. Now, here's the picture. This is my cousin 24 hours after the picture you saw earlier. This is how fast the body seeks to change and recover. Okay. So it's critically important what happens to your body after you work out. Now, what was interesting is Jay says he wasn't so impressed with this change in how he felt and he didn't have any soreness and everything after the competition. He said what was really blew his mind away, and this is a scientist talking. He says 3 months later, I had not worked out since the competition. 3 months. He says within 5 days, 7 days, I don't remember which one, but anyway, he says within 1 week, I was back to the weights I left when I before I went contest. He says that's unheard of. Never seen anything like that, which means that his BMI and his weight and everything was back to where he was pre-contest. Now, what's happened with that is that he uses it in his practice. He had a son that went into wrestling. He coached him all the way through high school. He ended up a scholarship at a university. He ended up winning MVP, and now he is a teacher and a wrestling coach. Guess what he's sharing with people? It's just, and it goes on, and this is how it works. So your body's designed for fitness, and there's an old saying, if you don't use it, you'll lose it. So I want to leave you with this. You are worth more than that $1 million racehorse. So take care of your body. And if this works for you, Dr. Shackley said, use the products, pay it forward, see the people. So congratulations for joining us. Thank you for being here. And I really appreciate uh, all your input if you have any later. So